What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back reviewing a film that was it in theaters? It was in theaters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I saw it streaming. I'm assuming you did too.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater because it only it was there were a lot of articles about it. Like it bombed pretty hard because it came out like in October. And it was a lot of think pieces have been written about it because it's kind of like, oh, another sign of the decline of like adult cinema. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that can make money these days is comic book stuff. So like an original, non-sequel, non-reboot, non-remake, non-franchise movie, hardly has a chance these days. You know?
Yeah, no, you got to have that built-in audiences for people to come out and see it. Unfortunately, just the kind of the world we live in now. But that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But just kind of the world that we live in.
It was in theaters last October. Yeah.
We both saw it streaming, so I
didn't see it either in the theater. But then again, it came out in October, I think, which is I'm only watching horror movies in October.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ridley.
Yeah. And I was busy. I had a wedding to plan, so I didn't make it to the theaters.
Is that really busy, Kier?
Well, it's for me.
Yeah.
Well, without all of the foreshadowing of what we're talking about, I say we get right into it. So the movie that we're referring to is The Last Duel. And Jason, you're going to take this one away, I believe.
Yeah. So this is actually we just did a Ridley Scott film. We just reviewed House of Gucci, and this is another Ridley Scott film. I wonder how he stacked those up so much. Probably one of them was done like long before the pandemic, or I don't know what happened.
Probably. I'm assuming that was probably the case, and then just didn't get released until now or something. I don't know. 2020 was such a weird year that so many films got pushed back. So it's hard to really say. So
because neither movie seems like it was able to be finished pretty quick. I mean, they were both pretty big budget, pretty large productions. So there had to have been one filmed a long time ago. Anyway, so this Ridley Scott film is called The Last Duel. I will freely admit that I probably should have done like a Wikipedia dive before this started, but I didn't. So it is based on a true story. So I forgot to look up the true story on it. But anyway, as far as the film that is based on a true story, it stars Matt Damon as a knight, and Adam Driver as a knight, and Jodie Comer as a young lady who is married to the knight played by Matt Damon. So Matt Damon and Adam Driver are kind of compatriots, friends, but one of them, Adam Driver, kind of has the favor of the court a lot more than Matt Damon, which causes some rivalry between the two. And basically Adam Driver's character, let me start over. Okay. One thing I didn't know about this film before it started, which I really enjoyed, is it's kind of got a Rashomon style structure where it's not just a straight linear story. It's actually three stories that are kind of like the truth according to Matt Damon's character, the truth according to Adam Driver's character, and then the truth according to Jodie Comer's character. And I had no idea that it was like that, because I love that kind of scenario. I love that because it tells kind of the same stretch of time three different ways. And at first, like when I was watching the first section, which is Matt Damon's, the truth according to Matt Damon's character, it seemed like it was skipping around in time. And I was like, this is kind of confusing. It's just kind of jumping around. But then it made sense later on when you see the same stretch of time told from another character's perspective that fills in some of the blanks. And then the third version fills in mostly all of the blanks. So basically it involves whether or not Jodie Comer's character was raped, because she's accusing Adam Driver's character of raping her. And back then, medieval times, which you could definitely argue has some parallels to today. A lot of people don't want to believe the woman, you know what I mean? And look at it as her fault, that she was raped, even if she was raped. So there's a big trial, and it results in a duel between Matt Damon and Adam Driver, where, Adam Driver's, saying he didn't do it. Matt Damon is saying that he did, but he's also kind of trying to protect his own sense of self also. And so basically it's 3 different stories, 3 different versions of the truth, followed by like a very intense duel between the 2 of them that is genuinely suspenseful, because I didn't read up on it, so I really didn't know what was going to happen. And adding to the fact that we're dealing with medieval times here, so there's the idea behind the duel is that whoever wins the duel is
right.
God's.
That was the right one. Yeah. So whoever wins. So if Adam Driver's character wins, then it wasn't a rape. If Matt Damon character wins, then it was a rape. Yeah. But they also believed back then that you couldn't get pregnant from being raped either. So that was the other.
Right. There's another thing. Yeah. And then there's also the added bonus that if Adam Driver's character wins, which hence means God has spoken that there was no rape, then Jodie Comer's character is going to get burned at the stake for ever alleging that there was a rape. Exactly. So, but she sticks to her guns. And I just want to say, when this movie came out, it didn't really intrigue me. The trailer, I've never been a huge Ridley Scott fan. I like a lot of Ridley Scott movies, but he's not one of my favorite filmmakers, except for Alien and Blade Runner are 2 of my favorite movies of all time, 5-star A+ movies. And then he's made a lot of other ones that I like, but he's never been a favorite. So this movie came out and also medieval times movies. I like a lot of them, but it's not my favorite setting, I guess you could say. Yeah. So it's a director that I'm not, that I like, but don't love most of the time. A setting that doesn't immediately draw me in. I know some people that will watch anything set in medieval times. You put somebody in with a sword and suit of armor, they're going to watch
chainmail or whatever. Yeah.
I like a lot of those movies, but it's not going to be it's not going to get me in the seat automatically. So when the trailer came out, I say, kind of jokingly that I didn't go see it because it's October and I was watching only horror movies, which is true. But I don't know if I would have seen it otherwise, because I think most movies in general are too long these days. It's yet another movie that's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. The trailer didn't grab me. I don't know if I would have seen it, but it got so many good reviews and so many people whose opinion I respect really liked it. And of course I got a little swept up in the I should support this movie because movies that are not, we were talking about, part of franchises these days hardly have a chance. So I should watch this movie. It was winding up on all these top 10 lists. A lot of good reviews. So I was going to watch it. And I will say I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie. Not only the Rashomon style structure, which I love. I just mentioned that I love seeing the same, about 45-minute stretch of time in movie time. I mean, it's years in the movie, but the same sequence of events told from different perspectives. I love that whenever any filmmaker does that. And then the duel is intense. You know what I mean? If you remember the another Ridley Scott movie that, I like but don't love is Gladiator, but one of the things I love about that movie is the battle scenes and this duel is it's intense, and it's bloody and it's brutal. And I'm not going to say who wins, but I'll just say it's a very satisfying movie. I didn't mind, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I never checked my watch, anything like that. So I thought it was a really fantastic movie, and I'm glad that I paid attention to the critics and watched it. So what did you think?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I might like Ridley Scott a little bit more than you do, but I'm not as huge of a fan. Just in general, I like Gladiator a lot more than you do. So yeah, and I've got no problem with medieval, huh?
I don't hate it. I just, I don't. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. But I mean, I don't necessarily. I'm not there because guys are wearing, set in medieval times and battle scenes and that kind of stuff. But I generally do like those types of films in general if they're done well. I don't love all of them, but if they're generally done well, I do. Yeah, with this one, it is very, very long. And I liked it. I didn't love it though, and I think the reason for it is actually probably one of the things that you loved about it is one of the issues I had with it is that they it's so long because they tell it from three different points of view of the same story, and for me, by the third time around, I was kind of like over that. Whether I don't know, I just didn't feel like I needed to see that exact same events three times around. I don't know. I mean, I understand that was the purpose of it. They wanted to show it from three different perspectives, but a lot of it was a lot of the same details. I mean, yeah, I did fill in some of the blanks, but a lot of it was the same details. It just was told from a different perspective, which makes for an increasingly long movie. So for me, it did feel a little bit long by the third time around. I was just like, oh, well, now we got to get his point of view of the story, and now we got to get her point of view of the story. And so by the third time around, it just felt a little long, and I was getting a little weary of, I mean, it's called The Last Duel. I knew that there was going to be some sort of battle towards the end, and that was probably going to be the conclusion. And by the third time around, I'm just like, can we hurry up and get to this battle already? So for me, it did feel a little long, unfortunately. I mean, I appreciate that style of what he was trying to go, but I don't need to see whether or not somebody was raped and the scene 2-3 times. I didn't need that necessarily. So for me, it just kind of felt a little gratuitous and a little too much. Didn't need that three different times. That whole scene could have been off camera. So it was just a little too much. By the third time around, I got a little wary of it. So I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it because of the too many perspectives on one story of he said, she said, and like I said, back in those days, it was hard to prove. And even today, it would have been hard to prove because it still is going to come down to a he said, she said thing. The only thing that we knew for sure, and it's not a spoiler, is that they actually did have sex. We just don't know if it was sex or a rape. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things where who do you believe? And, Matt Damon's character, his story of events, in my opinion, wasn't as relevant because he wasn't even there. You know what I mean? So that was also part of the gripe I had. I'm like, well, I don't even know why we necessarily needed his whole story because he wasn't even there. So he doesn't even know what happened. You know what I mean? So to tell a story from his perspective and then tell the stories from the two participants in the act's perspective, you know what I mean? I kind of felt like, well, was his story as even necessary? It's just my thought. So, so I did have some issues with just the length of the film. It felt a little long. I did enjoy, as a whole, the story of it. I thought Ben Affleck's character was a little much in parts as well. I had some issues with this character with the blonde hair and just I don't know. It was a little.
There's some great haircuts in this movie.
Yeah. Well, they were all bad haircuts for sure. He just looked a little silly to me. So I don't know. So it's supposed to be like this serious movie about and I know we just talked about like House of Gucci being kind of the show that we did beforehand being kind of a serious subject matter and they try to make light of it. But I felt like he was like comic relief in a story that didn't really necessarily need that, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Like I said, overall I thought it was a decent film. I didn't love it though. So just my overall take. So I definitely had some issues with it. And I definitely had issues with, the gratuitous, was it a rape or was it not a rape? And, and the couple times they show it, it's still even like ambiguous of whether it was or wasn't it. So I'm like, why do you need to show this again? Because even the first time you showed it, I still wasn't 100% for sure, So I don't know, like I don't know why you needed to do that whole story, that whole part over again, but just my take. So So I definitely had some faults with it. So, but yeah, it is a good battle scene at the end. There's some battle scenes that happen throughout the film as well that are pretty good. The story as a whole is somewhat interesting, but I just wasn't, who are these people in history that's that interesting of a story? It comes down to the classic of the only thing that makes it interesting is that is the fact that they offer to duel to figure out who's right or wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Which is also silly. But but that's the only thing that makes that makes the story so interesting, because that's all you're really waiting for, is this duel that you know is going to happen, to settle whether or not, you know, she was raped, which you still doesn't matter who wins, because you still don't know whether it was true or not, because
God has spoken.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, overall, I liked it in general. I just didn't love it. So
cool.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about The Last Duel?
Nope.
Cool. All right. Well, overall, great. And Face, you would give this one?
Oh, I loved it. I'd give it I wish I had seen it on the big screen. So I give it a 4.5 out of 5, which is A-. Even though it's, you know, not a happy film most of the time, I had a, you know, happy face because it was a good movie or something. It's our rating system, people. What can we do?
What can you do? You know, we're just gonna give a big smile for, you know, a rape film. Sorry, it is not funny. I don't think that rape is funny. It's just, you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely lower. I went with a 3 on this one. I gave it 3 out of 5 because I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. And I don't know. I respected that what he was going for with the 3 different points of view. I just don't necessarily know that the story was that. I don't know that necessarily needed 3 different points of views necessarily, because, you know, you still don't, you know, and one of the points of view was from a person that wasn't even there, so they wouldn't know, you know what I mean? It was good for the background fodder of their relationship as friends or whatever case may be, but it still doesn't tell you whether or not, you know, what happened, you know what I mean? Because he wasn't there, so he doesn't know what happened. You know, he's just, like you said, just protecting his wife. He doesn't know for sure exactly what happened, or his own honor, if you will. So, but it is what it is. So like I said, I just leave it at that. 3 out of 5, and, you know, just a smile and no teeth.
No teeth.
Cool. Well, let us know down in the comments. Have you seen The Last Duel? Did you like it? Did you not like it? As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again with another show for you guys. We thank you for watching and hope you have a great day.